Good evening, everybody. It is Weather with Sim again. I hope you guys all had a great Christmas. And as you guys can probably see, right in front of me is a microphone. It's pretty much the glowing thing. And if you guys do like my microphone, I do think you guys should subscribe, comment, and even like my videos on my channel. So if you guys haven't done that already, make sure to do that. But we're going to go ahead and start off with the radar. And as you guys can probably see, we'll start to kind of see a storm system move through, and as you can probably see, we are seeing a little bit of rainfall across places like Illinois and even Indiana, just a little bit of it getting back into western Kentucky and Tennessee, but even some other areas like the Central Plains getting into the northern plains and then back through parts of the Midwest are seeing some snowfall. But as we continue to take this forward, okay, as you guys can probably see, we will start to see a little bit of snowfall occur in places like the Ohio Valley, getting into parts of the Midwest. But if we continue to take this forward, we continue seeing snowfall across the same areas. If you live farther down south towards, let's say, Evansville, Indiana, you're expected to see lighter snowfall, but you can still see some accumulation though, so we'll have to watch those areas very closely. The GFS model will show about an inch in that area, but we'll talk about that in a second though. But if we continue to take that forward, that snow will continue across parts of Indiana, like I said, and that will continue pretty much through the 30th of December, it looks like. And then as we continue to take this forward, as you guys can probably see, that snow will finally head out into parts of New England and then move back into the Atlantic. But as we continue to take this forward back through parts of the Great Lakes region, we are actually seeing quite a bit of snowfall there occurring as we get into January 1st. But if we continue taking this forward, as you guys can probably see, we start to see some pop-up storms and even some heavier bands of rain in parts of the deep south. And then as we continue to take this forward, that will finally head out, and it looks like that could bring a little bit of snowfall to the Carolinas also. But like I said, that will finally head out into the Atlantic Ocean. And as we continue to take this forward, we start to see pretty quiet conditions besides parts of the northwest United States, and then even parts of the southeast will continue to see a little bit of rainfall. But other than that, we expect there to be pretty much below average precipitation for a pretty big area of the U.S., and this weather is expected to just be quiet. I mean, we'll have to see about that, but this weather is kind of expected to be quiet for a little while. But if we continue to take that forward, as you guys can probably see, that will kind of change a little bit as we keep heading later on. As you can probably see, we see a stronger stronger storm system across parts of the deep south, including Florida, which is located in the southeast. And as you can probably see, some pretty good showers and even storms in parts of that area. And as you guys can probably see, even up here in the northwest United States into the Rockies, we actually are seeing some pretty good snowfall there too as well. But as we continue to take that forward, we're going to go back to where we were before. As we continue to take that forward, like I said, we will see some snowfall across parts of the northwest, but then we'll continue seeing some pretty good snowfall. And just look at that. Wow, guys. Wow. Okay, oh my goodness. Look at that, guys. The GFS model is showing a very strong storm system coming through as we get into, I think it's most likely at the end of January. Is that right? Wow. I mean, pretty significant, isn't it, right? I mean, that's definitely significant. But I think this goes all the way out to January 12th. And so, I mean, this is just nuts, guys. But we'll have to watch the storm system closely. I don't think it's going to be this active, but I mean, if it really is, that's just going to be nuts. But if we look at the total snowfall anywhere from now to January 3rd is when you can expect some pretty good snowfall across parts of the Midwest and Ohio Valley, especially Illinois, which is seeing up to about a half a foot of snow in some areas getting close to a foot, like this area right here, getting about 9 inches of snowfall. But even back through places like the Appalachian Mountains and into New England, we are really seeing those snowfall totals ramp up quite a bit, actually, so that's definitely going to be a concern. But look over here in portions of California, pretty much the northern part, we are seeing about 18 inches of snowfall there. Just look at that, guys. 18 inches of snowfall there, but that will only be 150 hours out, so that's pretty close to when it occurs. That's about a week out. And like I said, this goes all the way to January 3rd. And as you can probably see, even parts of the plain could see a little bit of snowfall too as well. So we'll have to watch that closely. Now, I'm going to show you guys something else, and this is with the CMC model. We don't have very good model agreement with the GFS model, but we're going to go ahead and show you guys what the CMC model thinks. And as we continue to take this forward, as you guys can probably see, the CMC model shows a lot more active snowfall system moving through parts of the Midwest and as well as the western Ohio Valley, including the Evansville area. So the CMC model seems to be more active with snowfall, but that is still something to watch for, even though it is showing some pretty good snowfall there. But if we continue to take that forward, we actually will start to see another storm system move through parts of the deep south. So we'll have to see what the CMC model thinks, and we'll also have to see what the GFS model thinks. So we'll have to keep watching the storm system closely, but if we go ahead and look at the total snowfall with the CMC model, as you guys can probably see, pretty good portion of the United States seeing some pretty good snowfall, at least with the CMC model. If we go back to the GFS model, as you can probably see, it shows less in the way of snowfall for Indiana, but we could still be talking about an inch of snowfall in parts of Indiana, and that does include the Evansville area. But any farther down south than Evansville, I mean, barely any snowfall. Pretty much a dusting is what we could expect for parts of Kentucky. But other than that, I don't really expect there to be quite some snowfall. But we're going to go back to where we were before, and as you guys can probably see, now the CMC model is showing 3 inches of snowfall, guys. That is a lot of snowfall compared to the GFS model. 4 inches of snowfall, but even back into Illinois, seeing a lot of snowfall too as well. Look, up to 9 inches in northern Illinois, guys. So we'll have to see about the storm system. I kind of agree with the GFS model a little bit better, but we'll have to still watch closely. Now, we're going to go ahead and look at your guys' precipitation. As you guys can probably see, parts of the East Coast still going to see some pretty good rainfall across parts of Connecticut, getting down into places like New Jersey, even New York City, but even back through places like Maine, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and even back down into Delaware and Maryland, we are likely going to see anywhere from an inch of rainfall to almost 2 inches of rainfall. So we'll have to watch those areas very closely, but look over here in Illinois. With all that snowfall occurring, I think most of that snowfall will probably be rain, and what I mean by that is that they'll see snowfall, but it's probably going to be more like sleet. And I forgot to tell you guys that this actually does include sleet, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it does include sleet as well. So that could be why it is showing some pretty good rainfall there, is because it's also talking about mixed precipitation. But we'll still have to watch those areas closely, and I mean, they could just get plain rainfall, and that's also something to watch for too. Now, if we look at our temperatures, as you guys can probably see, pretty big area of the United States as of right now in the 40s and even some 60s down here in parts of the Carolinas. But as we continue to take that forward, we will start to see some pretty good cold fronts move through. And I mean, we start to see some pretty significant cool downs. Just look at that, 38 in Tallahassee, Florida. 43 in Jacksonville, pretty much 40 in Jacksonville. But look, it's 64 in Miami. I mean, that's chilly there. Look, even 54 in places like Orlando or close to Orlando, more likely in Fort Lauderdale. But I mean, that is just crazy, guys. Very cold weather. Hopefully, we don't see any snowfall there, or else that will be a big problem. To be honest, it will be kind of rare. But as you guys can probably still see, we will start to see our temperatures drop significantly into like the 60s and even the 20s down here, at least in some areas. Even up here, could even see some 20s too as well. So I mean, we'll have to watch those areas closely. But as you can probably see, wow, oh my goodness, whoa. Whoa, look at that, guys. 36 in Tallahassee. That's even colder than what's really expected. Look up here in the Appalachian Mountains, 21. So, I mean, like I said, we could be talking some pretty good, significant cold downs moving through. But, I mean, that's really all we have to say, is that we're just going to be seeing some significant warm-ups and as well as cool downs as we continue to move on. Now, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I'm sorry I didn't do a video during the last week, but like I said, that was my Christmas break. If you guys haven't seen that short yet, you guys can probably go ahead and watch that, but I actually didn't mean till January. I probably meant till now. But thank you guys very much for watching, and I will do one tomorrow.